You know what's gonna happen? One of these is gonna make it on there. You're like, oh, come on.
It's all about positivity. Everybody be happy. Hey, my name's Matt. This is my 2007 Chevy Express Extended Cab. It's a 2500. I purchased it in March of this year, which depending on when you're watching this video, it's 2021 right now. I've been building it out since then. It is now, well, basically September. And the one thing that I really wanted to focus on with this van build was to use what I had on hand. I wanted to do it on a budget and use furniture that I had left over when my relationship fell apart and I had to move out of my apartment. So if you've got the time, come on in, take a peek at what I've done so far. It's a work in progress. Start out here on the doors. Let's start out on the outside, work our way in. Door paneling, well, same as the wall paneling and the ceiling paneling, was a huge inspiration from a certain YouTuber who I may or may not look up to in an unhealthy way. And then I also had to get this nice fancy handle here, but I can take my own credit for it because unlike said YouTuber, I got mine at Canadian Tire instead of Home Depot. And of course, it wouldn't be a Canadian van without this very fancy Glad garbage can, which works. Oh, there's garbage in there, so it's working. That's excellent. I'll mention now, but it's also on the rear windows. I did tint the windows myself, so if we look super close, we can see that I've used Gorilla Tape on the inside, which you just have to learn to be okay with because you can't see it from the outside, which is great. Again, Canadian Tire, great purchase. Sorry.
Oh, this is good. Don't worry, this is good. Give her.
We'll finish up the doors with this very fancy paper towel roll here. I also just noticed today...
I have a question.
Yeah, all right.
Have you ever been a ShamWow salesman?
No, but I'm told I've had a voice for radio.
Right?
That's for sure.
Like, you know the ShamWow guy? Hey, ma'am. I'm sorry. And
Can I pull you off the street? I would love to show you. All right, back to the van. Anyway, one last thing up here. I had this Smitty built rack since last summer. I shouldn't say I started. I had a 2018 Tacoma with a bed rack on it, and I had this mounted to that rack. I had to sell the Tacoma. Sad day. But I kept this fancy awning because, as that other YouTuber might have said, it increases your living space. So super handy. We'll move on into the interior here a little bit, and like I mentioned, my focus was to reuse what I had on hand. So this very first station here is what I've been calling my water storage station, and it has actually been cobbled together by moi. It was two of those 2-drawer Malm dressers from IKEA, removed either sides and stuck them together with construction adhesive and screws. And again, just use bits and pieces of them to build the door so I can access them from the outside here. So let's open this up. You can see that this is my very unorganized water station area. 2 jugs, which gives me, I believe it's about 40 liters of onboard water. Let me double check, 10 gallons. And they're hooked up just with simple hosing with a piece of PVC pipe in the bottle up here to a camping pump so I can have running water. Unfortunately, if I left that on, that sink would fill and we'd have a flood, so let's not do that. I'm debating on whether or not I will put a drain in the sink and have a gray water tank.
6 easy payments of only $3.99.
Every time.
Sorry. this
You can have this. Sign up now.
I love it, dude.
It's called the number on your screen. So back on the outside here too, I wanted some sort of cooking area to have available while I was outside. So again, a couple hinges off Amazon, and I was able to attach, again, recycled wood. So I would have this fairly sturdy table outside. Come in handy when I'm using my camp stove, jet oil, etc. And the name of the game is construction adhesive. Everything in this van has pretty much been construction adhesive. Because somebody once said, it's like your home is in a constant earthquake. I'll go down to the floor now. I did everything myself. I have a very thin subfloor, and then I used laminate because I had experience putting laminate in my old apartment. So I used those skills that I taught myself to lay laminate in this. That may be a mistake. We'll find out depending on how much water I install. The nice thing about building this stair here in this area was that it built this cubby that I didn't plan. So now I'm such a big fisherman. There's a fly fishing rod in here, brush, and there's some spray cleaning materials back there as well. And this has happened a few times with the build. You just kind of plan things, you do them, and then you end up with more than you bargained for, which has been nice. I'm just gonna take that out. Bella, hold that! Thank you. How do you want to go in?
Good catch. Good catch.
Thanks, darling. All right, come on in. Let's see what's going on in here. When it comes to the sink, I'm just using, well, I didn't buy it because I had a house before this, but it's just a stainless steel bowl. You can get it at Walmart for like $5-7. I don't know. Don't quote me. If I do install it with a gray water tank, it will be sealed with that hole in there. Let's move over to my kitchen area. The first thing that I was the most proud of was my spice rack. And I know my grade 8 shop teacher probably wouldn't have passed me on it, but I like it and it works fantastic. Again, with this 3-drawer system that I have here, these drawers were from an old dresser of my grandmother's, and my grandparents were 2 of the most important people in my life. I had this dresser, so I knew I wanted to reuse it. It used to be a kind of a teal green color, so I repainted it to go with the scheme that I chose to go here. Got a couple drawer slides off Amazon, $20 or $25 for like 4 of them, and they work great. Right, so I've got a whole bunch of storage. You didn't see that candy in my van.
Yes, I did.
It's creepy.
My instant first thought is like, yo, let's pause the video and let's eat.
Right? I left a bag at home. Okay.
It's my kind of drawer.
Right, and here's more kitchen utensils, jet oil. I'm not sponsored, but I wholeheartedly believe in this stuff. This is one of the best products I've ever purchased.
Yep, I have not that one, but I have the Jetboil
That one?
stove.
The half gen?
I love it.
I know. I sold my Xbox to get that. I figured I'm never going to use the Xbox in the van, and that thing's fantastic. Because I think you have the similar stove, but you don't have the silver top. But my problem with these Coleman stoves is it's either off or fricassee everything. Yep. Right? Yep. So I wanted something, and your video and reviews on the Jetboil was like, it's one of the best simmer controls. It's amazing. I love it. Cooking of like, because I love cooking. I know that's not really your thing. But I loved cooking, and that was a big thing for me. We won't look in the bottom drawer because that's what every house needs, which is a junk drawer. Up here, hanging cabinets. Again, did it all myself. Couple hinges from Lowe's. I was going to say Home Depot. Lowe's handle. And again, this was all just MDF board left over from IKEA furniture. These were, pro tip, if you're at Lowe's or Home Depot, look for the cull wood piles that they might have. The wood that's kind of, and it's going to be a lot cheaper and more affordable for you. So that's what this is. I think this is like 1x2s, and I built the frame with, and it's come in handy. And I'm just using leftover wood paneling that I used on the walls for the bottom. So for me, it was all about using what I had and not trying to waste any of it. This is my shore power. I used the Noco shore plug on the outside of the van, and it's just plugged straight into this power bar. Works great. I can also plug in my battery trickle charger that goes to my batteries at the back when I am plugged in, which isn't that often. This was from a IKEA desk that actually was my workstation or workbench, which I did the rest of the build on, and I was able to finally use that desk at the end of the build to build this final cabinet. My water station also opens on this side. I'll just do the one right now, right? But I have access to everything I want because in here, like I said, this is still a build that's in progress. Diesel tank will go over here next to the water jugs that will run over to the outside of the unfinished basement area of the house. That's where the diesel heater will go. We'll close that up for now. The plan is to put another flip out table on this side so I have just one more surface on this side. I wanted to sleep wheel well to wheel well, but I'm too tall. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So I had to sleep this way. I knew that. Now, this wasn't enough surface area for me to sleep on. I tend to toss and turn and try to find that comfy spot. So, again, we live in an era where you can pretty much teach yourself anything you want just by doing a little bit of research on YouTube. So again, I did this. I can't remember the gentleman's name. We'll try to give you credit later. Let me undo the latch. And this is one thing that wasn't reclaimed, except the big chunks of wood that you see here did come in the van. I'm pretty sure it was drywallers that had the van before me, and they had this big wooden structure here as a shelving unit where they probably kept their tools. Obviously, I ripped all of that out, but I kept the wood because I wanted to try to reuse it. Lumber's expensive, so I was able to do that here with the bed. So I undo the latch. This is on 500-pound drawer slide. I can slide it out, take off this very fancy blanket, and then when I want to make it a full bed, Just go like ignore this. Like I said, unfinished basement area. I will be putting in the diesel heater on the bottom. I've actually tried to future-proof the build as much as I can, and the floor actually is missing. I ended the laminate here. You can't really see it from that angle, but it is the bare metal of the van back there. And that's where I will put the diesel heater, and then I will build on top of it some more shelving. I'm using just one of these plastic 3-drawer suckers, and it's got toiletries and all of my special men moment stuff. You don't need to see that. Just take my word for it. And I wanted to cover the wheel wells. I knew that much. And I insulated them with Reflectix, which I know that there's conflicting reports on. But I did that, build them up, and I've just got extra storage, which is a pretty typical thing to do. Most of the bedding's in there, some paper bags, because the society's trying to hit us over the head with paper bags right now. Hashtag bring back the plastic bags. Vacuum doesn't work very well. And we'll move on up to the top here. Again, hanging cabinets, which I knew I wanted to do. Again, did it all myself, leftover stuff with just a few hardware from Lowe's, and these ridiculously strong hinges off Amazon. I don't know what I'm doing when I bought these. It says 120 ends, and 100 was a choice. I probably should have gone with that because these suckers are tight. But I've got my curtains up in this one just to throw up before, because I don't have the rack to draw them yet. And well, that's the dirty laundry one. You don't need to go in there. And then, spoiler alert, they're not here, but I do have a cat or two that may be coming with me. Still trying to figure out those logistics. So I built this open air cabinet at the end here that's just holding bags and video games, but it's also going to be a perch for the kitty cats to see outside. All right, so that is this is my house now, or it's going to be. So if I'm being perfectly candid, I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'll try not to waste too much of your time. But I was working for a big Canadian-wide company here up in the Great White North called Lifetouch Canada. I was in the school photography division, and I was a photographer with them for 5 or 6 years. And then I moved into the yearbook division, and unfortunately, world came under a little bit of a blow with the pandemic, and Lifetouch made some restructuring choices, we'll say that, and I was let go with a handful of other people in January of this year. Which was a blow, obviously. If you've ever lost your job, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, more so for me, not to play my own violin too much, but I ended up, the relationship I was in ended, and we had a little baby girl together as well. And, you know, they were able to find a home here in Calgary, Alberta, and I didn't really have a choice. I had to go back and move in with my parents, which I am very thankful to be able to do that still in my adult life. I know not everybody has that option, so I'm very blessed when it comes to that. And I knew I needed a change. I could either rest on my laurels and just, you know, bum around my parents' house, try to find another Mickey Mouse job in the interim, or I could try to make a change. And I really felt like I needed to make a change for the better. So I had been watching CRUZ's channel for a few months before that, curious and very interested in it. I loved the idea of building stuff with my own hands and being able to do my own mechanic work. Like I mentioned, my grandparents were two of the most important people in my life growing up, and my grandpa was that stereotypical guy's guy. He would fix things when it breaks. He would fix things when they broke. He didn't believe in throwing stuff away. And he's instilled a lot of that in me. So I've been able to wrench on cars and do my own maintenance work. So I took that and everything I learned online, because we are so lucky to live in the time that we live in with all of the information that is made available to us by everybody else. And I taught myself how to do this. I've had help from two of my very good friends in terms of laying my subfloor and building this very nice wheel well box over here. Shout out to Chris and Mike. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you to no end. And I dove right in, and I took advantage of the situation I was in. I'm currently residing with my parents, using their garage to build out the van to prep it for a Canadian winter. Because if you're not familiar with winters in Alberta, they can get a little cold. So I'm trying to get it ready for that, because I will have a fire lit under my butt come the middle of October when my parents make a move either to BC or somewhere else in the province. I would love to go with them. I'm going to miss my family, of course I will, but I've got responsibilities here. I've got a little girl who is now the absolute apple of my eye, and while things have worked out for the best between me and her mother, I don't want to just leave her. I need to be around, but I also don't want her to just have a stagnant, boring life like I feel like I had had for the last 36 years of my life. I grew up thinking I had to go to school, get that education, get that job, get that huge mortgage, pay that house off, and I was probably just gonna die without being able to take any of it with me. And that's never sat well with me. So that paired with a lot of the negativity that I was feeling surrounded with in my life, the losing my job, the losing the relationship, and other people around me that were just being negative, I knew I needed to make a change. I wanted to be positive. And this was something that I could throw myself into, a project that I could do with my hands and generate some positivity for my life. And I wanted to do something that was fun at the same time. And I'd had a YouTube channel for many years talking about movies, doing movie reviews, because I'm a huge movie buff. And I took a moment and I thought, what's the one thing that I find weird about YouTube? Is that we call them YouTube channels, but it's usually the same thing on any channel. I wanted to mix it up and I wanted to combine the two things. I wanted to combine my coming van life and the entire experience I was going to have building it out while talking about movie reviews. That was the positivity I needed. I needed to take time to focus on me to make myself happy. And I've been able to find a great balance between talking about movies, building this van, which is going to be my full-time home very soon, and spending time with my daughter. Having such a good job before I lost it entitled me to decent EI. EI is not great. If you've got the option to get a job, do it. But since I'm able to live on EI for the next few months, that gives me time for both me and my daughter's mom to save a little bit of money so she can be with me while mom's at work. It was always going to be a tricky situation, but we've made it work this far, and I'm super excited to continue it going forward, especially for my daughter's sake, because I don't want her to just have the sticks and bricks experience. I want her to get outside and learn things, real stuff that she could use to better her life, or even just at the end of the day, weird survival skills. Maybe she will find herself in a situation where she'll need to cobble together some furniture. Anyway, I'm a big believer in this. Chrome was the epitome of inspiration when it came to this. You guys know that most likely if you're watching this channel. He is a solid guy and he inspired me. I can't say it enough. He inspired me to do this, and the fact that I'm this far, I am now able to look back, even with it not being done and not having everything in place. Heck, I don't even have a roof vent yet. I'm able to look back on what I have done so far with so much pride, and I've never really done that with a lot of stuff that I've done in my life. Take that for what it is. I don't know, might be a little weird, but you know what? Normal sucks, weirdos unite. Thanks, guys. We out!
6 minutes.
Perfect! Look at that. That never happens. I talk and then all of a sudden I got a 20-minute movie review to edit. Frick! Thanks for watching. Miss you guys. If you're not subscribed to Chrome's channel, you probably should.
Yeah, we're gonna start the video with that. Sup, YouTube.
Sup, YouTube.